boys in green, the Falcons team, the only team to ever bring it home here at Esports World Cup. And never have we ever had a final day with so many teams with a good chance of taking that trophy home, Poro.
Everything on the line for some of these teams, even more so for some than others, as you mentioned, with the Club Cup up for grabs, really. But none of these guys are thinking about that right now. The only thing they're thinking about is this first game, starting off strong and building off anything that they were able to do yesterday. And
looking at just the top 8, I mean, we could extend that, but let's just look at the top 8 for now. Calling it now, who's going to win it? They said it on the desk. Freaks with a good win. They're up there at the very top to join the conversation of winning this tournament as well. One thing is for certain, you desperately need to come off strong from the beginning, because if any one of these teams run away with it early, it's going to be a tough climb to the top.
Nobody wants to be in a position where they're playing catch-up with 3 games to go, but we'll see what happens. We're starting on Miramar, which is the favorite map of most of these teams. You have to figure they love the way this thing plays out, but are they going to love this plane path, Toby? It is starting off pretty brutal.
As south as you can really get it. Luckily, Miramar is a great map for vertical line pathing, meaning that if you're just hopping in a car driving northbound, you should be all right. As you can see here, all 64 players on the server ready to go, ready to do their best to try and claim the EWC trophy at the end of the day.
Having to sweat just a little bit longer there at the beginning as well. And you know, everybody comes in as an athlete or an esports professional. You want to come in there, you want to get started as soon as possible. Everyone has a routine. We saw it earlier this tournament with Sharper. Unfortunately, Sharper Esports' routine didn't necessarily work out too well for him. But you always want to get in that seat and get going as soon as possible to not let those nerves take over.
Now, a lot of the circles to kick things off here in Miramar have been out towards the east. Let's see if that's going to repeat itself once again here coming into the final day of the grand finals, or if we're given a bit of variety. We haven't been west for too much of this tournament, so let's see where is this potentially very decisive first circle going to go, and we are going to go back up towards El Pozo.
Back to Pozo once again, so Rock Esports already in a good position. And we should see a lot of teams off to the southeast. Now we didn't happen to see a lot of esports pickups, or e-pickups rather, in our game that went up here earlier, but it was more of a byproduct of the plane, right? But
sure.
In circles like this, a lot of the times you will see those esports pickups get used so they can camp out on the top of that unplayable, gain a lot of information of everything that's around you, and just basically play king of the mountain for a little while.
Yeah, it's going to be get here early and get into a good scouting position. It's limited how much you can really spread out, especially towards the center and the northeast part of this circle, because you have literally, I mean, due to the terrain being the way it is, the mountains as steep as they are, it's very hard for you to stay connected with your teammates, very hard to kind of scout for one another, make sure that a teammate doesn't get pulled up on. And with how many teams, as we look at the map here, with how many teams are having to transition into this circle, look down towards the southern side of Picardo, look up over San Martin, because you're really only given a few set routes to path in from. You might see a lot of teams actually, Poro, looking down towards obviously Gen.G, but also change the game and potentially Third on 5 as well, have to wide swing that southwestern side through Val del Mar.
A lot of interesting decisions, a lot of important decisions for the IGLs to have to make early on here. Just a reminder, as yesterday when we closed out on Miramar, it was 17 Gaming and the DN Freaks that had our 2 victories, but you also saw Falcons have a huge game, Na'Vi have a big game. So this is a map where a lot of the teams that were really kind of hoping to find something after a slow start really started to find their groove. So if they can keep that groove going into today, that would be absolutely huge for them.
Weirdly enough, as much as we like to kind of dedicate the chaos to Rondo, Tego, their newer maps, B, I mean, they're harder to predict. Erangel has kind of joined, at least in this tournament, the chaos pattern for some extent. So this really is the only map where, for the most part, again, teams have played it pretty much according to plan, according to what other teams have predicted. So I think if you're wanting to get the so-called safe points, this would be the map to try and farm them on.
Yeah, I mean, given what we've been seeing on Erangel as far as early fighting, early violence, and just wild circles, hard shifting circles.
Yeah.
Especially yesterday, we saw the military island circle and then a circle that finished on the ferry pier. I mean, that you don't want to have to leave everything up to those last 2 games.
For sure.
Despite the fact that Erangel is a map that all of these teams know like the back of their hand.
Exactly. Well, let's see here, 17 setting up a rotation. Rock is already in a 2-2 split. Of course, trying to lock down real estate early on. They've opted to leave out of Monte Nuevo and are now pathing all these rotations coming through. And 17 Gaming, while they get away from Rock, they're going to be running into Toyo. Issue for Toyo is they're in a 2-1-1 split, so not at all in a position to defend here. Good thing for them is where 17 is going is not fully up in the open arms of Toyo, but it does give them a bit of a scare, though, that now there's a full 4-man right next to him.
Yeah, this was either a good call by Toyo or just really good luck, as this compound is definitely a prio compound in circles such as these. But Toyo opting not to send a duo there, rather take the duo, put them off to the compound to the west. That way they can continue to keep their 2-2 split between here and the south side of the main city itself.
Yeah.
So they are going to go ahead and take those shots, kind of flex their muscles.
Exactly.
Flap their wings, let
Puffer fish as hard as you can.
Let them know they're there.
Exactly. Don't get 17 a reason to think, should we go take that compound as well? Because they will pull up on you.
Well, Freaks.
As we see that now, Freaks flying on Inhuman down to half health. Could be dangerous if they go anywhere near opponents. Are they going to go all the way west coast? You know what? They might go all the way Kantara. They set up in Graveyard New. Again, we're limited in our rotation opportunities. We can't go over Power Grid. We can't go through San Martin, through Picado as well. There's simply too many dangers. So let's wrap hard west on this one. See if we can get cars all the way up towards Kantara or here on the western side of El Pozo and make a play from there.
And unfortunately for their helicopter pathing for their E-pickup did not. I mean, there's a couple of those. You could see them right here. There's a couple of high ground spots. I think Neil might be attempting to go. No, he's going to pass on right by it. So not even opting to go for those high ground positions here. Instead, the Freaks just going to go and take up that real estate on this western side of Pozo, which is fine. It gives them a good idea of what's going on inside the city. But if they would have had somebody on that high ground, they could have scouted the city out a little bit more just in case the hardship does come back their way.
Goes to show that their game plan, at least for now, is not El Pozo related. They're wanting to sit on the northern side. They're wanting to potentially set up alongside this northwestern road in case teams come towards them. I mean, not Third on 5, Expendables right now actually lobbing up on that northern side, going towards La Cobraria. And speaking of Third on 5, they're maneuvering in this direction as well.
May have been a loot issue as well for Freaks.
For sure. They flew early and they were in Graveyard. I mean,
not always the best, but they're going to use the cover of the Sandstorm to pull into that western side of El Pozo, so they're going to play the city itself. Meanwhile, Petrichor Road, they can take all the time they want. They're on the east side of Los Leones. You can see them on the map just on that very bottom right corner. Meanwhile, I say meanwhile for the 15th time, it seems like they're the only team that's really doing this long southern wrap. I mean, change the game. They did it, and they're arriving now.
Yeah.
But not a lot of teams opting for that southern rotation. Instead, you got 3 teams all going up to the north.
One thing that worries me a bit, and I hope worries this lobby as well, whenever we get the team walkouts, which were amazing, by the way, whenever we get the walkouts, you always see a little bit of a smile, a little bit of an emote from Ixlef. This time around, he was as ice as can be. There was not even a smile, not a hint, not a wink, nothing. This guy knows we're not a 13th place team. We're better than this. We brought in Ming Ming, one of the best mechanical players in all of China. We're supposed to deliver better numbers. And I think for this game here, this is the smartest thing that they can do. Avoid the early shenanigans. Don't go into any crazy fights before you're forced to take them, because, there are only so many compounds left in the game. Play it slow, do the southern wrap, get into the circle late, and get some time on the server before you're potentially taken out by an APAC team across the road.
Before that. The inevitable, right?
Exactly. Happens to the best.
Some things are just inevitable. Well, Gen.G, they have a pretty wide split here, but it looks like they're going to pull it back together as Flame and Bean now kind of on their way back over in this direction after Orca took a few shots. He looks to be a little afraid.
Why is he?
Yeah, I think he took long range shots from Change the Game, but Tiantian right there, a little bit closer. So Orca trying to make him himself seem a little bit scary. You see him keep swapping those guns and make it sound like multiple people are in here, but I don't think Change the Game is buying it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Orca is yelling into a megaphone, but they're stood there seeing the little guy yelling into the megaphone. It's just one guy. Ain't that scary? We can actually do this. Ares up close, Chan there as well. Wenbo is going to be the, at least for now, the bait, but also giving a lot of info across so that if Orca opts to leave, if he tries to reposition, get down towards Tosi, they might catch him in that transition.
Keep eyes on this, as this is kind of the closest thing we've got to a fight brewing here, really.
Yeah.
Oh, Tosi going to get spotted out, and Ares, that's going to be Chan that gets the last bullet into him. And now Tosi's down, and Orca, they know exactly. They know Orca's by himself, but he does have that bolty. He's got to be careful. And now Shabay, he's got an angle onto this. So Change the Game, drawing a little bit too much attention to themselves with this one.
I don't like this. Flame is coming up to 45, but Bean is still far away. They have to value the positions they're in. I mean, if CTG plays this one right, they get a very amazing 3 times 4v1 fights.
Orca just wants to survive. Flame's going for the res onto Tosi here, and Bean is coming up to provide support, as you said, as the circle is closing down. If Orca can survive a little bit longer here, then Gen.G might be able to turn this, as the circle has favored it, and they don't have to move. They can stay where they are, and whoever wins this is going to get that compound, and Orca putting up a good fight, but will go down in the end.
Now is when Gen.G has to make up their minds. Do we leave? You can see Bean already driving back towards Monte. Now they have to get out of here. There's too much to lose for them sticking around. He is gonna spot.
Oh, no!
They get right into the fence, but he runs back.
Hang!
Oh, he didn't realize.
You've got the M249. You've got the bullet hose.
That was a double kill in the making, but he hesitated. He thought they were off the cliffside.
My goodness, Gen.G has had the biggest rabbit's foot luck in their pocket when it came to circle placement yesterday, and this time they get away with absolute murder here.
That's insane. To be able to have 3 up now, circle center as well. You know what? If there's a day to get things going your way, that would be on the final day of Grand Finals. And Gen.G, they got away with one there.
Well, they weren't able to make a lot out of the luck that they were given yesterday, as currently only 31 points in 10th place, but they at least get to keep 3 alive in this one, and they get to play in Monte Nuevo, which is just south of the center of this new zone. So you can see a number of teams on the move, few still fighting their way or making their way through Pozo here. GSW and DN Freaks right here, but AG, all gamers right on the other side.
And it's an awkward position for them to be in. Destroy actually getting called out by Falcons as well on transition. Dangerous pathing, in my opinion, for them to try and squeeze through there up towards El Pozo. But opted to do so. They caught the back guy, and Falcons net themselves a first point of the game.
Take that. Well, 12 minutes in almost, and we've only lost 2 players. So it's been a little bit of a slow start this time, which is fortunate for a lot of these teams because it has not always been that way so far this week. We've seen some very early fights popping off, but this time allowing things to kind of settle down a little bit, as Hymas is going to spot out Hyzaki and just kind of give him a little bit of let him know he doesn't have anything to worry about right now.
Looking over his shoulder. But one thing that's interesting right now is that, and it goes to show we're in the final day of a tournament, everyone is grouping up outside of select few teams, which means there's actually some of the prime real estate available in the circle center. Issue is the teams that are coming in just now, they haven't had a chance to scout forward whatsoever, so they have no clue. The double barns on the northern side of Rock, completely free. The double warehouses northwest of Monte, completely free. But the teams around them are sat 4 guys locked in position, so the teams, as I said, that are coming in on the edge now, they have no reason to believe that there's a center compound available to them, because the teams on the outskirts, they're shooting back towards them.
Tell you what, if you're a fan of EU, which I know you might be,
Not biased.
May have a little bit of bias. It's fine. One thing I think you can take a little bit of, you feel pretty good about is out of the teams that were doing kind of wide splits, earlier on we saw it in C1 with VP taking a very wide split on the southeastern side. Navi now still with a very wide split, so it's showing that they're still playing with that same confidence. They're like, we know the game that we want to play. We're going to continue doing that now. That being said, VP, Twisted Minds, they've all collapsed on each other. They're already on the move once again. VP going to run right next to T1 as they wait for this circle to pop.
Circle pops, it goes towards north, and again, look towards that open compound. Once a team realizes, wait, there's no movement, there's no cars, is this actually free? They are going to be blessed for daring to try and commit to that position. But look at this now, VP pushing on forward. Gen.G there as well. Vehicles galore on the southern side of this circle.
Oh my goodness, it is all happening in this field as Gen.G will stop down long enough to try to take shots at something. VP will make their way up the mountain as they get shot at passingly by Rock. 17 in the compound, no angles to be found. VP will hide out in the dips right here and wait for the inevitable push that will come. It looks like Na'Vi will avoid them for now, but that's just going to force them right into the waiting arms of GSW.
And again, all these teams are being forced into one another because there's open compounds no one is taking. Finally now, GameStart wins scouting from way up north of El Pozo. Looks down, spots no vehicles. They get blessed with this circle alongside the compounds. Buddha Na'Vi trying to go aggressive early on. They had extents far down on the southern side, expecting maybe a southwestern wrap. They tried to get the center. We leave now, and honestly, if they can make it back to the edge of the circle with all 4 players up, kudos to them for sending it in, daring to go, but also knowing when to call it quits.
Yeah, I feel like they got a little bit lucky not to have lost Silted there.
No doubt.
Okay, they'll play from the edge, but they keep 4 alive. Twisted going to stay in their compound. Falcons kind of getting gate kept a little bit here by Twisted, but that's the problem, right? Like, where do you go? You've got this giant mountain on your north side, and now all gamers starting to go and make their wrap. They may run right into Falcons over here on the blue. We'll see what happens. But remember, I think
is Icon going for Destroyer's blue chip? I think he actually might be.
He might be.
Yep, that's exactly where he fell. And good thing for him is he's outside of audible range for Falcons, so they shouldn't be looking for him. Yeah, he's definitely going for it. They have the control in El Pozo, as we see Chloris here getting inside the city. Third on 5, finally. I was going to say make their way inside the circle. They aren't quite there just yet, but they're running straight into the open arms of DN Freaks.
This is all on Heaven right now.
It is.
The only one for Freaks kind of looking in that direction. Salute is keeping eyes on the rest of all gamers. Guman and Deal keeping eyes to the south, so Heaven will have to spot this out, and it looks like he does.
I think they saw something earlier.
He may have heard the vehicles. Fluky, yeah.
But the fact that they're playing this on foot,
he's calling for support.
Yep, no doubt. Guman is up there to try and help on the western side of the circle now as well. Issue is for Salute. He's hearing vehicles towards All Gamers Global now too, as the circle is centering up. Nan is solo pushing towards Toyo. Not sure what that was all about, but he died for his troubles. Maybe I'm not sure what happened there. It looked wonky, but he sent it and paid the price.
Okay.
Sometimes you gotta send it, and sometimes it doesn't pay off. Now this circle, though, it is phase 4, so there is some predictability to it. Let's see who's gonna get the blessing of it. Gen.G, Rock, dead center. They have had the final they've needed in order to be on the top of this leaderboard.
To say the least, Rock. I mean, they take bricks, which, I mean, to be honest, in that C1, that's a pretty quick and easy call.
I mean, they landed there, right?
They did land there, but I mean, but it's not often that you see teams take bricks. A lot of times you'll see them take that spot that 17 is in. But as a result, I mean, Rock is safe to say the least. But the one problem for that position, I think that we see a lot of the time, is that they end up not being able to get a lot of kills. But what a spray! The mini from H-Win to take out Haizaki
too. That is from way up the hillside.
Oh, yeah,
that is
great the high ground.
A great cover to have standing behind. You guys pull up. If he peeks, I got him. Don't you worry about that whatsoever. As more fights now take place, we see CTG trying to pull up on 17 Gaming. That's with the C4 in hand. One player falls down. Chan down. Ming and Ike's left down now as well. Multiple fights taking place on the western side of this circle.
Yeah, meanwhile, Freaks trying to finally hold the line here against Third on 5. They get the initial knock onto Rossiter Jr., but they cannot spot out the rest of them. And this is just going to take way too long for Freaks to finish this off. So I think they get that knock. They use that as an opportunity to start making their way a little bit further into the city. Keep watching their backs, but where do they go? They've got a long way to go, and here you go. That's that fight. CTG and 17. Looks like 770, the last one up.
The good thing is you want to be inside the buildings. Once you are, the team's around you.
What did you do?
Shrimsy just knocked himself and Tiggleton. Again, not sure what happened there, but Chloris is there to take them both out. Panzerfaust are great when they work in your favor. When they don't, well, that's a BRDM that gets to survive.
Oh, no. Okay, well, Kickstart and H-Win still alive for the Falcons as the Expendables pulling up onto VP in their dip. You Utility's starting to come out, but Noah's going to hit that first one. Tombu hits the next one, corrects it, at least trades one out, as the rest of the boys, you can see Tombu down to about half HP. Try to slow things down and maybe go for their res, but they're getting shot at from range here by Na'Vi as well, so it's forcing them to play down, and another knock comes through.
An absolute cluster of a fight is taking place here. Multiple steam chiming in from the side. Twisted Minds, GameStar win, and Na'Vi all shooting from afar to the best of their ability, as I think Expendables now realize we overstepped our boundaries here. We need to fall back a bit. We need to try and share this space, but with Na'Vi still being on the high ground to the southeast, you can't really hide anywhere.
Yeah, that was, I think that was the main problem for the Expendables, is not so much VP, it was the fact that Na'Vi was taking the shots at them from range and getting them low and kind of forcing their hand before they were ready, and now the utility's gone. They still have that BRDM though, so Duckshoes and Clory's not out of it just yet.
Not at all. Up towards the north, multiple fights taking place as well. Ranger X trying to make something happen in a game where they've practically lost already. Outside the circle, Freaks as well trying to run on forward. Kickstart is here, H-Win behind it, but he's going to fall down to Guman, so it's just Kick left alive, fending off against the two remaining players, D and Freaks.
Kickstart at least making sure you can flush that point.
Yeah. Every
single point. So important in this lobby. 5 kills for Falcons already, and Deal now going to go down to Benya. So Toyo finding angles from that high ground, and that will be it for the DN Freaks.
Yep.
But somehow Kickstart still alive. The new circle has popped though, and he is going to have to travel a long way.
Freaks out and Expendables out as well. And for VP, that is clutch. They now get to spread out again. They get to retake control, and look at this. As soon as they've taken out Expendables, they jump over to the dips next door. They get perfect angles. Now looking towards the north, knowing now we have cleared our perimeter. Now we look to the edge of the circle to prevent them from pushing towards us.
It has just not been a great finals here for our APAC teams. See Theraton 5, all gamers.
Yeah.
Very, very highly respected squads, just not finding their footing. The Expendables at least having a little bit of something in 9th place as the push coming through from GSW will find Nixie to open things up. Luca Rux just has to get on the move, try to go in a different angle, but he gets spotted as well.
Yep, great on AC to commit to the spray despite going through the prone, but able to find at least the first one. Second one goes down as well. Luca Rux actually found from afar. That's Hakatori able to steal that point away. Ming too able to get something off of this, so it's VP and GSW fighting, but the points are going over to all the other teams.
Just everything getting yoinked out of their pockets. Kickstart still alive as well as Beamy just not going down easy. Tosi's going to be the one that gets him after getting dropped down to 21 HP. But he will survive. Bean still off in the distance. Can they collect anything off of this? Toyo versus CTG versus 17. There are so many people inside of this blue zone, inside the compound. Aries down to just a shotgun. And he's going to use it. Capitan takes a load of buckshot right to the jaw.
Yep, like the attempt, but unfortunately not a whole lot to do in Aries. You'd have to imagine he won't be making his way too far outside of this one now either. I say that, but he able to find one. Does he get the flush before he falls down? No, he doesn't. Can 7-7 get to him in time? No, because the circle is closing in as well. So that point is going to go over to change the game despite them falling in 10th.
Yeah, and then 7-7 now might be in a lot of trouble because you see Tosi and Bean already looking over in that direction. Yeah. Tosi going to get taken down by Owo though, so he's not going down without a fight. Well, meanwhile, all of this is happening. Rock is laughing in the bricks. Na'Vi and Twisted Minds are laughing over on the eastern side. They have just been looking at all of this. Yeah. Na'Vi's managed to collect 3 points off of this. Twisted hasn't gotten active just yet. And T1, they've still got a couple of live on this southern side, but it looks like Na'Vi's starting to look over in that direction now.
The only issue for Rock in this case is that they have had literally 0 angles on anything. They have 1 kill, and Chewy is a lone player with a mortar in hand. You know what? Gotta respect it.
He's spot by
Rock has not been in a position to engage in anything, and should this next circle shift east, which it doesn't quite, if they fall here, yes, they got a lot of circles in the early game, but that would be a 2-point game. I mean, we talk about making something of the games where you get circles going your way, but from that compound, the brick compound, as you call it, you're very limited in what you can engage against if there's people on both sides of the road.
Yeah, that's what we said at the very beginning, right? Yeah. Whenever Rock took it, it's like that's a great compound, safe compound play for late game, but you're not going to get points from it. You're not going to get a lot of kills because everybody knows how to avoid it, right? So Na'Vi now making the move. They're going to run past our lone mortar in Chewy and take him down, find a spot inside to play, and see what they're working with. If Ferris can join them and he can get there easily, that would be great. But look at T1. They've got their mortar set up as well.
GameStartWin's approach to this game has been incredible. They played it slow. They were the team to read the double bound was free. They come in, they take that, and then they push over the top to not only deal with Virtus.pro, but Gen.G and Expendables as well has been absolutely incredible. But now they have to make a play, and down towards the south as well. Twisted Minds are creeping up towards Na'Vi, and the timing couldn't be better because Na'Vi has just engaged against T1, and they get themselves a double. Extends with the first, Hakatori with a double to follow. Now it's just the end left alive.
That was fantastic stuff from Na'Vi, not sitting in their dip and waiting, instead being the aggressors, taking it to T1. Ian, the last player left alive. He's not even he's going to spot out Extends, but goes down almost immediately, and that opens up some more room for Na'Vi. And the good news for them, Twisted Minds now has to keep eyes on GSW to the north.
And Na'Vi smelled the push coming in from behind as well. They knew we got a full three-man collapse on this play because Twisted is coming. We give them the space we got before, but as long as we take out T1 fast enough, we can reset, look back towards the northeast, and we should be all right. So now, it's like a full compass game. We have teams in the north, south, east, and west, and wherever this next circle goes, well, that could very well coin our winner of this match.
That Na'Vi play was exactly what everybody has just been screaming for from this squad. They know what they're capable of, and now we are getting to see it. 8 kills for them, and they are 2 points shy of the overall lead in this lobby.
And to make matters stakes even higher, look at the implications on the leaderboard. It is second through 5th that is alive as the last 4 teams. We talked about coming off to a good start. We talk about being able to separate yourself on the start of the last day where everyone is still sat in a bunch. Whoever comes out victorious here, if you get a lot of kills to boot, they're looking real good.
Well, that's the problem, is there's not, I mean, the only kills for mostly, aside from Na'Vi, who's been fragging, Rock obviously only 1 kill playing from Bricks. Twisted, they've been playing from the north side where there's just been nobody this entire time. So they've got nothing. GSW, they've at least managed to collect a couple. But you can see the situation that they're in here. It's not exactly great, but the circle is going to go to Twisted, and now Rock has to leave their compound.
Yep, and I think that's what everyone's going to be looking towards. Of course, GameStartWin has to make something happen as well, but
you got the knock on a Hakatori, and they're immediately running.
And I mean, Na'Vi has to be aware of this. They have to know that is the one play to make. Nates flopped on over. Of course, they haven't had to fight anyone close range yet, so they should be very good and useful. You can see it on the top of your screen here as well. Twisted Minds with 9 nades still as well. But Rock, I mean, you can't just stop here, guys. At this point, you commit.
No, I love this from Rock. I love that they've read the situation absolutely correctly, but now they're
stopping.
They're stopping. They're pulling back, and oh, man.
I mean, you can still prone on your side of the road. There is a ridge line. Issue is, you're going to have to fight GameStartWin for it.
I think their issue was GSW. I think they got the initial knock, started throwing utility, but they ran out of utility, and so they started getting a few shots sent their way from GSW and maybe pulling back.
The west side of the road is going to be in still, but there is only space for one team to claim, and look at it.
And GSW has hard. They've got the deployable shield. They've got the rock.
Yep. They're not inside circle yet either, though.
Yeah, they've got to move.
They're not inside circle yet either. You have vehicles on the side of Rock, obviously, but how in the world do you play this? Beal on his stomach, trying to crawl towards the circle, but he ain't inside either.
No, he's not.
Everyone's wanting to third-party this.
It's all a game of chicken here. Who's going to go first?
Yep.
And, CC. That's a nice shot there from Santastico.
That's going to be a go sign, right?
Yeah, it's got to be, and yeah, that's their go sign to take the ridge line. At least they do have the cars to work with, and Hakatori tries to go for the peak. Oh, Perfectix will spot him. Lou will get take Ferris down, gets the flush as well. So Na'Vi now just down to 2, Extends and Soset.
And this is exactly what you want to see happen if you're on the side of Rock. You bait the attention, you bait them. Come try and see if you can get us. As soon as they peak, they get punished by a 3rd team, and now the 4th team that's going to try and make a play as well. This is such a, I mean, there's so much going on a cerebral level of trying to organize how do we react and what's happening around us.
I tell you what, that's exactly what the rest of the lobby wanted to see as well. They don't want to see Na'Vi get a win here with a whole boatload of kills and jump up into unreachable stratospheres. Instead, we'll see how they hold off this push from Rock. They had to slow down. It's only going to be Santastico and Beal that are going, but Santastico will spot out Extend. Sosa, the last one left alive. Santastico has to retreat to the smoke, but he's not going to get there before Chatong gets the knock.
Every time you try and engage, other teams catch you in the crossfire. AC now will fall. Santastico should be resible so that you can see no util at all on the side of Na'Vi.
Lining up perfectly for Twisted Minds here. They are in complete control of this entire lobby, everything that's left. But somehow, someway, Rock has been able to stay alive. Xiaotong will get spotted out, and there you go. Game start win goes down, and immediately Biel will go down as well. Sosid will get traded, though, and Na'Vi is out in third, and it's down to Twisted Minds versus Rock.
And just 2 teams left alive here. For Rock, they have done everything they could with this game. We talked about being able to survive through the late game, being able to get points with it. They have done exactly that again, continuing to impress time and time again. But how, oh how, do they get away from here? Twisted Minds, they're looking hungry. They're looking like they want to bring this one home.
And Twisted Minds not going to take Rock lightly this time. They have had straight up 4v4s with these guys before. They know that they are serious, and they know how dangerous this team can be. You can see they are staying back, and Perfectix will have to drop down as he almost gets taken away, as RBN going for the wide flank.
He's baiting.
An Example is going to get away with it. He baits it, and Santastico will find the knock on the Batulans.
He's baiting the attention to the best of his ability, but Santastico down to just 13 HP. It's limited what he can do on his own. He gets the prone down, he gets the heal on up, but look at the HP on the other side. Souls now called. RBN, you need to not only bait, but pop heads as fast as you can, but it's too little. It's too late, and now he's alone versus 3.
That's
a molly. You know what? I respect it.
Yeah, at this point, don't give away that point. You know how close it is at the top of that leaderboard, but Twisted Minds will get our first victory of the day here on the final day of Grand Finals.
I had a chat with them coming into today. I said, what do you do to avoid the chaos? Stay away from the C4s, stay away from the BRDMs. Well, they did both. They got themselves a win. Of course, it takes more than that, but what a clinical win from Twisted Minds. Going up, yes, they get that circle in their way. They could have gone either of the 4 directions, but they knew exactly how to play it when given.
This is a different Twisted Minds than we saw earlier this year at BGS 7 and 8. This is looking more like the Twisted Minds of 2024, who claimed 3 titles for themselves